was listening to Jigga when he rose the diamond fingers. I was on the Forbes list before my first kick. I was playing with your sister. Little did you know that now I'm playing with your sister. Get it? What makes me different than a candle in the sun? I'm only 34, but I've been working for 31. Baby room, pink and plush with the stereo system. NBC had the keys to Queens that allow me to be on the screen, that allow me to get that first bag. Still haven't spent that. Oh, no Bugatti, no. I was in the
So when we have guests come in studio,
I was sitting on the stoop.
for that matter, not even when they're in studio, but Miles, let it ride, Miles. Miles often asks our guests what their walk-on song is, especially if they're in studio. What's your walk-on song? So Raven-Symoné walked into the building, into the studio, and Miles walked in, introduced himself, and asked Raven-Symoné what her walk-on song was going to be. And I was laughing because most folk can't walk on to their own song. So, all right, so Raven-Symoné, tell me why you chose this as your walk-on song today.
Because I think that people need to hear it. I had an album a while ago, and this is one of my favorite songs off of it. And it's another side of me that not a lot of people hear.
Tell me about the track.
The fight with the heat on. So it's pretty much telling about my history, that nobody knows that I was in the kitchen since the days of Ponce de Leon. I grew up in Atlanta, and I talk about how I was on the Forbes list before my first kiss, how I was doing all these things even before I, before I had I could shop for myself. And it just kind of tells the history of my career in a swaggy way.
Had the music been calling you for a long time? Or was it one of those things where I'm going to try this?
Well, my very, very first album was hip hop.
Sure.
Missy Elliott wrote on my first album, and rap because I was 5, so not really everybody wants to hear a 5-year-old's voice unless you're like opera. But when I did this album, I was tired of singing. I was tired of, fighting to be seen in the singing category, because as a female singer, it was like, wear a bathing suit, make sure you're extra sexy, make sure you sing about sex. I remember really, really, really high-end music producing partnership came up to me and was like, we need to do a song called Lock and Key. But no, 2 keys, 1 lock, or some shit like that. Excuse my language, and some stuff like that. And I was like, why? Because you're gay. So it's 2 locks, no keys. And I was like, that doesn't make, no, sir. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
And so I didn't really give into that. So when I did this album with Austin and Brian, it was really important for me to write for myself along with them, and saying my story from the time that when I was doing music for another record label that would only let me sing, these are the things that I really wanted to say. Yeah. And I've always loved to flow. I always listened to rap. I always listened to hip hop. And so, that's why I did it.
We may circle back to the music. I'm glad I've got you for the hour.
Of
There's
course.
Lots to talk about, and I'm just honored to have you in studio. Let me just start with this, though.
How are you doing, sir?
If I complained, I'd be an ingrate. I'm doing remarkably well. All the better by your presence in the studio, Raven-Symoné. But I wanted to start with this. Only because we talked about your walk-on music did I not begin with this, because I literally wanted this to be the first thing out of my mouth, so forgive me. You won't remember this, but the very first time I met you, you were still playing Olivia on The Cosby Show. Mr. Cosby had invited me to the set, and I was in New York, and he said, you got to come by the set one day. I went by and hung out with him. I met the entire cast, and over the years I've gotten to know, many of them quite well. Felicia and Malcolm I consider friends, et cetera, et cetera. But I met you, and your father was on set that day. And I sat for a good while and talked to your father. As a matter of fact, I spent more time talking to your dad that day than anybody else. We just sat and had some great conversation. So I wanted to start this program offering you my sincere condolences.
Thank you.
We heard about the passing of your father. And I think I have some sense what that relationship meant to you. So I was actually surprised when they told me you were coming in. Everybody grieves differently. How are you processing your way through this moment? If I can ask you that.
I got bills to pay. I got things to do. I got dreams to accomplish. I got goals to hit. I got stuff to do.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I received that, and I'll let that go. Just wanted to let you know that it was on my mind.
Thank you. I
And I
appreciate
wanted to
that,
offer my
sir.
condolences in that regard. The second thing, which is that was serious. This is sort of funny. Speaking of Cosby, so I was talking to some friends of mine last night. We were watching the Dodgers game last night. Go
Yes.
Dodgers!
Go
Yankees!
Dodgers.
Yeah. Watching the game last night. We were talking, and they were asked who's on the show tomorrow, and I said, got this in the first hour, this in the second hour, Raven-Symoné in the third hour. So Raven-Symoné, she's coming in. I said, yeah, she's coming in.
Uh-huh.
And so we started talking.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. We started talking when I told you were coming in studio about whether you were going to be on time, whether you were going to be late. Yeah.
Ooh, they don't know me.
We went there.
They don't know
Let
me.
me tell you, we went there. We went there, and half my friends were betting you were going to be late. They said, she's in that generation. She's going to be late.
Wow, really?
Yeah. And my view was she trained in the school of Cosby.
I am never late.
And she went from Cosby to Disney.
Never
You
late.
you could not start out with better training than Cosby and Disney. I said, I think Raven-Symoné is like a real professional, like old school. And my guess is that not only will she be on time, she will be early.
Let me tell you something. What happened? Let me tell you.
One last thing. Who walks into my lobby 20 minutes, 25 minutes before she's on the air? Raven-Symoné. So to all my friends who are listening right now who bet against you last night, what do you want to say to them, Raven-Symoné?
I want my money. Run me my bag real quick. Okay, 1, 2. I will let you. I would have been earlier.
Yeah.
I was finished dressing probably 30 minutes before. No, 45 minutes before the car was ready to pick me up.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I have something to do, I don't like to waste people's time. It's so funny you bring this up because I just got back from Louisiana with my mom, and my mom and I were talking about how it's actually probably an anxiety trigger that we have when it comes to time, because in my mom's generation there was a stigma of black people being late, and she wanted to just,
It still exists.
I'm trying to be nice.
Go ahead.
I'm trying to be nice.
Go ahead.
And so I was telling her, I'm like, yeah, it's a little bit much, because if I'm late, I start having heart palpitations and I start thinking that the world is going to end, right? But I do believe in not wasting other people's time and other people not wasting my time.
Yeah.
And sometimes I feel like if I'm early, you might take me early, which means I can get home early, which means I can take my bra off sooner. like you guys.
If I could have taken you earlier, I would have taken you earlier to get you out that bra sooner, but that's not the way the show works around here.
I'm trying to go home.
Her name is Raven-Symoné. I will let her go home in about 45 minutes, but I'm going to keep her here for the whole hour, bra and all. She going to stay right here for 45 minutes.
I'm right here with you.
And there's a lot to talk about. There's Scrabble, the new game show. There's this documentary I just saw about child stars.
Yeah.
Want to get her take on that. Why she stays quiet about politics. There's just so much to talk about. Raven-Symoné, honored to have her in the studio on Tavis Smiley.
From California to the Carolinas, everybody's listening to Tavis. More when we come forward.
Vice President Kamala Harris.
I get it. The cost of rent, groceries, and utilities is too high. So here's what we're going to do about it. We will lower housing costs by building more homes and crack down on landlords who are charging too much. We will lower your food and grocery bills by going after price gougers who are keeping the cost of everyday goods too high.
Kamala Harris's economic plan is focused on lowering costs for families, so you can keep more of your paycheck. That starts with the cost of housing. For first-time home buyers, she's offering $25,000 in down payment assistance. To build wealth, her plan offers up to $50,000 in new startup tax deductions. This is exactly how we can build generational wealth and strengthen our community, so we can get the chance to do more than just get by, but to get ahead.
You work hard for your paycheck. You should get to keep more of it. As president, I'll make that my top priority.
I'm Kamala Harris, candidate for president, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Harris for President.
Make a move into a home of your own. With City National Bank's Ladder Up Home Loan Grant, you could receive up to $20,000 that you never need to pay back. Use it toward your down payment, save on closing costs, or to buy down your mortgage rate. Find out more at cnb.com/ladderuphome. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Property must be in a qualifying market in California, New York, or New Jersey. Additional terms and conditions apply. Not all applicants will qualify. Terms are subject to change without notice. City National Bank is an equal housing lender. Member FDIC. NMLS number 536994.
If you have asthma, you know that there are certain things that can set off your asthma symptoms. These things are called triggers, and patients with severe asthma have an average of 8 triggers. It could be pollen, dust, pollution, colds, viruses, smoke, or stress. If you know your symptoms, you have already taken the first step to managing your asthma. The next step is to write your triggers down in a notebook or journal and record your symptoms when you come across those triggers. This will give your healthcare provider valuable information about what you can do to help manage your triggers. By understanding your triggers and writing them down, you are on your way to taking back control of your lung health. Visit luma-edu.com for more guidance. This message is brought to you by Amgen and AstraZeneca.
And the top-rated African-American talk show host in the nation, according to Talkers Magazine. You're tapped in with Tavis Smiley right now.
Tavis Smiley and Raven-Symoné, who joins us live in studio. We were just chatting up during the break, and sometimes the best part of these shows is in the commercial break. Hopefully that will not be the case today. I'm trying to give you as much good stuff as we can. Now we have her in studio. So let me just go back to where we were a moment ago, and I want you just to share and opine in this regard, and then we'll move on. So when you start as young as you started, and you're doing Cosby and you're doing Disney, I was talking about obviously the professionalism that I figured was imbued in you at such a young age. But talk to me about just some of the takeaways, going to where you want to go. Some of the takeaways that you hold on to all these years later as a professional that you learned when you were just a baby, really.
I think some of the things that I wear on my sleeve every single day is that everyone's job is important. From the maid to the director to the lighting to the person who empties the garbage to everyone deserves a hello in the morning at work, especially when you are in the position of power. It trickles from the bottom down. So I just directed a pilot for Disney Channel, crossing fingers that it goes, but I made sure that even though I wasn't the main actor on it, they all felt empowered to do their best on that show. And I think I learned that from the negative and positive side of life, meaning I learned it from watching certain people do that, but I've also learned it from watching certain people not do that, and how I felt pushed aside because of my age, because I wasn't in the in crowd on a set or something like that. So no matter if you're 65 to 2 on set, everyone should feel empowered. Another thing that I learned is that it is a job. My mom instilled that in me. She was like, I don't care how famous you get. I don't care how much money you have. Just remember, this is your equivalent to a 9-to-5. So treat it that way. And everyone has a boss. Even the boss has a boss. The boss's boss is actually a group of people on the NASDAQ. So, you really have to ultimately please your boss and make sure they see you and your worth at all times. And the last thing that I'll say is, every single time I present myself in public, or what I say is a page in my book, which I'm writing a book. But it's to make sure that when you look back on your life, or when your children or grandchildren look back on your life, they don't have to say, let's just skip that page. Let's skip that page. I'm a little embarrassed. You don't want to have that on your shoulders. And if you do something because life happens, making sure that you're brave enough to admit it / recover from it in a positive way.
I heard you slide that directing thing in. I heard that. I'm going. I listened quite well. I'm going to come back to the directing thing.
Okay.
I didn't miss that. But one last thing though, since I'm going to follow you throughout this hour.
I'm right here.
It is remarkable to me on a certain level that you've had a career all these years. And I say that somewhat tongue-in-cheek because when you start with Cosby and Disney, it could be downhill from there. I mean, there's no guarantee that it gets much better than that when you start at the top. Have you ever thought about that? How have you navigated all these years starting at the top when most people after that just kind of either disappear or they crash and burn?
I changed my career.
Yeah.
I changed it, and I'm not even trying to move your to make you talk about directing again. But there was a point after The View where I'm like, I don't really want to act.
Yeah.
I'm not going to turn into that sex symbol, female actress that's I don't cry. Yeah. It takes a lot to get me to cry. So what am I going to do in the industry to keep me moving forward in my own personal career?
Right.
Directing and producing.
Yeah.
Let me help the people through that need a mentorship, and that's the younger girls and the younger actors coming through. It's like, I want to be on my own show. Okay, cool. Let me help you. Therefore, I'm still needed. I'm still relevant. I'm still moving forward. And because of that, I think, things like Scrabble came by, and certain things that, I'm not trying to go too deep, but I do believe in energies, and I believe that the energy of Raven-Symoné as an actress has its path, and the energy as Raven, the human, has their path as well. And so always focusing on Raven-Symoné and what that celebrity needs to be a celebrity will create a vacuum of, oh no, I'm not where I'm supposed to be. I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do. Oh no, I'm irrelevant and I got to do something crazy just to get people to look at me. Instead, let Raven mellow. Let Raven just sit in the Raven-Symoné sit in the waiting pool, and Raven can go to school. I have an AA in fine art. I got married. My wife and I have a production company. We're finding other scripts. I'm not acting. I'm producing and directing, and it's continuously made me quote unquote relevant because I'm still doing things. I'm just not focusing on that one energy anymore.
Was there something or some things that happened that allowed you to make that conscious decision that I don't want to do the acting thing anymore?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, this is all going to be in my story, but I never really liked acting.
Hold up. Oh.
Oh, God.
Breaking news.
She said it.
Breaking news. Yeah, I can't wait for this book. Let me just say this. I cannot wait for this book.
Never liked it.
As good, I know, I'm not laughing at this because I'm
You
thinking,
can, I don't care.
I know you don't care.
I don't care.
I'm thinking of one person in particular that comes to mind right now who was an amazing basketball player. His name was Wayman Tisdale. And Wayman was a really good basketball player, started Oklahoma, went to the pros. He was good. But what Wayman really loved was music. And people had a hard time accepting that basketball wasn't really his first love as well as he played, as good as he was at it. So when somebody hears you say that you really never really liked acting as good as you were at it, you got to unpack that.
Nah, I will.
Yeah.
Take any being at 3 years old and thrust them into a school of one type of talent and saturate them until they're 35 years old. Just saturate them.
Yeah.
They're going to be really good at it.
Yeah.
They're going to be really good at it. 10,000 hours times 15.
Malcolm Gladwell. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, that person that is, saturated in that talent and that gift, fantastic. Now, on the off hours, that's the part that's going to be in my book of what was really going through my mind and why I am the way that I am. And I remember, goodness, I was between the ages of 17 and 23 when this thought came across of, I have no passion. There's no passion for anything. People would say, you want to do a job, you have to be passionate about it. I said, how much money is it? Well, no passion. I said, well, my passion comes with the amount of zeros.
Yeah.
So how much passion do you need me to have for this?
How much passion can you afford from Raven-Symoné? Yeah.
How much passion? And so when I started to really unpack that, I was like, Jesus Christ, I need help, I need help. But passion didn't come until I was able to say no to things that I was normally saying yes to, and that passion didn't come until I got married and was able to have a soundboard of someone that wasn't pushing the old narrative. And then it's funny, right? Because the universe, oh, you don't want to do it? You don't want to do it? Nope, no, I don't want to act. I'm not doing it. I'm directing. I'm actually succeeding in it. And then, hey, we want you to be the host of Scrabble. And it's like, oh, that's what passion feels like because I'm a gamer. You know what I mean? I love video games. I spend a lot of money on the cell phone for video games.
Yeah.
I play a lot. And so I was able to free up energy to allow the universe to say, here's something you would actually like to do in the position that you've been in for all of your life. So different.
So tell me then what, I'm working my way to Scrabble. Trust me.
No,
we're going to get there. We're going to get there.
I'm fine.
We're going to get there. Tell me what the directing thing gives you that apparently the acting thing did not.
Yeah, it gives me power.
Wow. I love your honesty, Raven-Symoné.
I mean,
I just love your honesty.
It gives me power. I have ideas.
Yeah.
I have plans. I have blueprints. I have opinions. And sometimes certain actors, not all, but certain actors, especially at a certain age, aren't allowed to get those opinions across because they're not in a position to because of their title. And so being in multicam for as long as I have, and also doing a couple of single cams, I'm also transitioning, trying my best to get into that a little bit for directing, but I'm able to see it from a different lens.
For those not in Hollywood, multicams means
sitcom means your Cosby shows, your
There you
That's So
go.
Ravens,
There you go.
know, your Everybody Loved Raymonds, and then your single cam is your Dick Wolf series and all of your cop shows and stuff.
there you go.
Sorry about that.
No.
And so when I sit there and I'm saying, I don't even say action. We're not going to go into that because it'll take too long of an explanation, but I go back to the 90s when they used to count it into live TV. When I do that, or when I'm working with actors, especially actors that are younger, that are new in the industry, I'm able to have a rapport with them that is a little bit different than an adult that woke up one morning and said, I'm going to direct. I've been that child, I've been that teenager, and I've been that adult talking to directors and working with camera to figure out stuff. So I feel like I have a shorthand with humans, even though I might not know you very long enough, but I understand it. And it gives me a sense of calm. I said this to my wife the other day when I finished the pilot. When I work as an actor and I'm not directing, because I've definitely acted and directed myself on Raven's Home, but I go home and I'm extremely exhausted and drained and not fulfilled. And like, I can't wait for the weekend. Don't talk to me for 3 days. When I'm directing and I'm asked questions throughout the day from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and every single thing has to go through me, I go home and I'm like, babes, let's go out. Let's go. I'm invigorated. I've been fed. My soul has been fed. And that's a long answer for what your question was.
No, I got to follow up because that's what I do. You can't tease me and think I'm not going to come back and, and want to be pleased. So you tease me with this. I don't say action.
I don't.
All right. So you old school. You count it in.
Yeah.
How do you do it?
In 5, 4, 3, 2.
Bam. I love it. I love it.
So the reason and I love teaching this to kids because kids are used to action and then they start right away. And I'm like, no, the camera's already rolling.
Yeah.
Like, live into the scene a little bit more. I was doing that from Cosby to Hang on Mr. Cooper. And when it stopped on That's So Raven, some of the directors that came on were like, what are you doing? I said, I'm acting. They were like, no, you don't have to do anything yet. I said, okay, all right, you watch. You watch. I'm going to be quiet, though. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to speak again.
Yeah. I'm a pro at this. Yeah, I'm 13, but I know what I'm doing, right?
I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The directing thing. One last thing about this.
Yeah.
What's your goal? What's your dream? What are your directing dreams, goals, visions? What's that look like?
It is so unpretentious. It is just having a consistent directing job.
Right.
I'm not out here for awards. I'm not out here for most artistic expression of a short. That would be nice.
Yeah.
But I just want to work. I just want to sustain a life. I want to live comfortably, and I want to make sure that I'm molding content and stories for those who have been overlooked, that need a voice, and ones that already have a voice, and you need, a black female LGBTQ director to make and put in some sauce. Sure, outside of my consistent wants, do I want to do big movies? Sure. It's not my dream to direct a Transformers. Like, that's not in my goal. My goal is more of like, remember the movie The Cell? Like that, because I went to art school. So yeah, in that world. But I mean, I'm not going to be, that's if it comes.
Yeah. I want to get personal for 2 minutes, and then we'll get back to the business, Scrabble and all the other stuff you're working on. I sense, whenever I'm around you, which isn't often, but I sense I'm around you, and this conversation is another example of that. I'm thinking. Let me pivot for a second. Stephen Bochco, the great producer, years ago, said to me when I was doing my TV show, I'd ask people afterwards, off camera, give me the best advice. What's the best advice you ever received? And I collected this from everybody, every star in the world. I put a little book out years ago, sold like hotcakes. The best advice that I ever received from people who I interviewed. And Stephen Bochco once said to me, the best advice I ever received was simply this: in this business, it helps to either have FU money or an F you attitude?
Yo, let me talk to him.
F you money or an F you attitude? That was Stephen Bochco. I sense that you have both.
Hilarious. It's so funny. You're psychic.
You're really bold. I mean, you're bold. I love it, but you come on now.
Yo, let me just say why you're real, because I'm in the car on the way here having a conversation with my wife, and we're talking about not going or going to a premiere. Mm-hmm. And she was like, mental check-in, how do you feel? And I'm like, well, babes, I don't really have words. She's like, well, I'm tired and this, and I don't want to do this. And I was like, you know what? Say less. Like, she was like, we shouldn't go. And then we had to, like, bring down the list of all the things of why we shouldn't go to this very high, fancy, very big premiere. And I'm like, because we don't give a. It's not going to help what we're doing in the future. I don't feel like kissing butt anywhere tonight. Yeah. And at the end of the day, what the universe wants to give us is what the universe wants to give us. And if we are compelled to go somewhere, then we will. But the fact that we're even questioning it, we don't have to go. I don't have the amount of FU money that I think is necessary, but it's definitely okay.
Yeah. On that note, more with Raven-Symoné when we come forward on Tavis.
This is getting good. Yeah, man. Tavis Smiley continues when we come forward.
Paid for by government.com. Did you know the United States Mint has issued a new Morgan silver dollar coin in proof condition for the first time? Not only that, they are also minted in 99.9% pure silver for the first time ever in history. Coin experts are calling this an amazing opportunity for anyone that knows the enduring popularity of Morgans. But you must hurry. Only 400,000 of these legal tender silver dollars were issued. These first ever Morgan silver dollars are brand new with stunning mirror-like finish, minted by the iconic San Francisco Mint. Call now and you're guaranteed a new first ever 99.9% pure silver proof Morgan dollar. To learn more, call 1-800-973-9717. If you order now, you will receive a free coin collector bonus pack, a $25 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-973-9717 now to secure your new Morgan silver dollars before they are gone. That's 1-800-973-9717.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 things you should know from BIN News. A dock collapse at Sapelo Island's Marsh Landing dock during a festival off the Georgia coast is under investigation. The incident, which occurred Saturday, resulted in 20 people falling into the water, with 7 fatalities reported. Voters in a number of states can vote early starting today for the November election. They include Texas, Florida, Arkansas, South Carolina, and Connecticut. 3 people, including a 15-year-old boy, were hospitalized after being shot near the United Center on Chicago, Illinois' west side. The incident occurred last night as they were headed to a Lil Durk concert. Police report that a group on bikes attempted to rob them. Fortunately, there are no fatalities. And Lizzo and Usher joined Vice President Kamala Harris on the campaign trail over the weekend. Lizzo appeared with Harris at a Get Out the Vote event in Detroit, while Usher joined Harris later in Atlanta for a rally in Georgia. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 at BINnews.com.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. I started Blindster in 2010 in my garage after I overpaid for new blinds. I researched the industry, hired my mom, and 14 years later, we're one of the largest retailers of custom blinds in the U.S. Don't pay too much for new blinds. Go to Blindster.com.
Is this the This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Dodgers and New York Yankees in the World Series has a nice ring to it. For the first time since 1981, 2 of Major League Baseball's most celebrated franchises will meet up for the 12th time to decide the MLB championship. Game 1 is Friday at 4 p.m. at Dodger Stadium. The Dodgers eliminated the New York Mets in 6 games. The 10-5 win Sunday night gave the Dodgers 46 runs against the Mets, the most by any team in a postseason series in MLB history. The Rams are 2-4 after a 5-point win over the Raiders at SoFi. The defense limited the Raiders to just 5 field goals, no touchdowns. The Chargers are on Monday Night Football tonight. They're at Arizona to take on the Cardinals. 6 p.m. kickoff on ESPN. The New York Liberty won their first WNBA championship. They beat the Minnesota Lynx in overtime in the decisive Game 5. Next year, the WNBA Finals expands to 7 games. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
I'm Reverend Gerald, the life coach. Is someone you love struggling with addiction and mental illness? Is improving your family's health important? Want to leave a legacy that your family can grow? Are you ready to enhance your perception of life experiences? Then wake up weekends at 7 a.m. with Urban Family Focus and get the wisdom, opportunity, resources, and motivation to live your best life. Join the conversation on Urban Family Focus Saturday and Sunday at 7 a.m.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black. We're not just a thermometer recording and broadcasting popular opinion. We aim to be a thermostat, transforming the conversation about climate justice in our community. This is KBLA Talk 1580.
Moments like making my kids my famous meatballs mean a lot to me. But after being diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer, or MBC, which is breast cancer that has spread to other parts of the body, they mean even more. I take Ibrance, palbociclib.
Ibrance 125 milligram tablets with an aromatase inhibitor is for adults with HR-positive, HER2-negative MBC as the first hormonal-based therapy. Ask your doctor about Ibrance and visit Ibrance.com. Ibrance may cause low white blood cell counts that may lead to serious infections. Ibrance may cause severe inflammation of the lungs. Both of these can lead to death. Tell your doctor right away if you have new or worsening symptoms, including trouble breathing, shortness of breath, cough, or chest pain. Before taking Ibrance, tell your doctor if you have fever, chills, or other signs of infection, liver or kidney problems, are or plan to become pregnant, or are breastfeeding. Common side effects include low red blood cell and low platelet counts, infections, tiredness, nausea, sore mouth, abnormalities in liver blood tests, diarrhea, hair thinning or loss, vomiting, rash, and loss of appetite.
Sweet chocolate reward. Sweet chocolate reward.
This is not just the sound of someone picking up a sweet treat at Walgreens. This is the sound of someone picking up a sweet treat right after receiving all their vaccines in one trip. This is the sound of treating yourself, because you protected yourself.
Stop by or schedule both your flu and COVID-19 vaccines today and grab yourself a sweet treat while you're at it. Vaccine subject to availability. State, age, and health-related restrictions may apply.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline nasal spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
Freedom is an endless meeting, so let's get back to it with Tavis Smiley.
Welcome to the show, you guys. I can't wait to see you in action on our super-sized Scrabble board. Wow, right? The two of you will be competing to advance through 3 rounds of word games. The player with the most points will move on to our final round for a chance to play for $10,000. May the best words win.
Now, I am not a gamer, Raven-Symoné, as you said earlier. I missed that. I'm one of 10 kids.
Okay.
I've got 7 younger brothers. They're all gamers. So I sort of missed that generation. My generation missed the game thing. But you don't want none of me on a Scrabble board.
Prove it.
You don't want none of me
Let's talk
on a
about
Scrabble. So let me just say this. My mother, who's listening right now in Indiana, I'm sure, taught us how to play Scrabble. So all 9 of my siblings play Scrabble. I've got like 39 now, nieces and nephews.
Oh.
They play Scrabble.
Wow.
When I go home for Christmas, we have every year I go home a Scrabble tournament while I am home. And let me just say that there are not many things I do like this well on Scrabble board.
Now, do you have the Scrabble dictionary available at all times?
All times. I'm hardcore. I play by the rules.
Oh, I love you.
I'm hardcore.
Okay, what's the...
No proper nouns. No. There are no proper nouns in Scrabble.
Okay.
No. And what I get people all the time, I'm the king of 2-letter words.
I was just about to... Are you that person?
So at the end of the game, when you can't put them letters on the board, I can work that. I am the king of 2-letter words. I almost never am left with letters on my on my.
Let's go.
Yeah, yeah.
I can't wait to see Scrabble grow so we can have a celebrity Scrabble and get you on.
You let me know when.
I want to see
and
this.
I will be there. So tell me, that's it, about the TV show Scrabble and how you became that girl.
Yeah, for sure. God, first of all, love Scrabble. It comes on Thursday nights on the CW, and it's actually game night on the CW. So I am doing Scrabble, and LeVar Burton is hosting Trivial Pursuit.
Love him.
And me too. I love Unc. And so we both were so just humbled and happy to hear that when they were looking for hosts for the CW, they came to us because they understood who we are and what we stand for. Him, obviously, with education and reading, and me for the funness of it all. But there was a wonderful executive producer attached to this project named David Horowitz, and Renegade and everyone. But he reached out to me because I had worked with him on some other projects, and he goes, "You're fun. Let's do Scrabble together." I said, yes, please. Yeah. Before this came up, I was a Boggle player, Bananagrams, Scrabble. My grandma was a crossword player. Like, games were in the poker, spades, all that. And so watching the Game Show Network growing up, rarely do you see, from that time period, female game show hosts. And I go back to that time period before the 90s because that's the television that I grew up on. I really wasn't allowed to watch too much current things because it's crazy out here. But Flip Wilson, Carol Burnett, The Dating Game, like I watched all that kind of stuff. And thanks to The Weakest Link and Kiki now, you know, more women are involved in it. So I jumped at the opportunity to be a part of this new wave of female game show hosts. And Scrabble, I think, is important. One, because it's ageless. Even though mostly, you know, you have people of a certain age playing Scrabble, it's always important to bring in the new generation because it's an educational game that brings the family together in a really cool way. And you know this as a Scrabble fan. And then with a Trivial Pursuit, it's like so many different trivias come into play that it is, again, an ageless type of game.
Yeah. I love it. And this is the nerd in me, but I confess that. But it is also the case that I think that Scrabble, of all games, is more necessary and more relevant now than ever before for the following reason. Because, as you referenced earlier, we're always on these things I'm holding in my hand. We're always on these smart devices, these phones. We have taken to texting shorthand. And so many people in said generations cannot spell words correctly.
I'm one of them.
Because we spend so much time on our phones texting in shorthand.
Exactly.
So if I asked you to actually spell the word.
Don't do that.
Exactly. You probably couldn't. So Scrabble is about word power as much as it is about fun. And so I think that my mother understood that. There was a method to her madness. And when she got us into it.
There's another layer to it, too, which is a brain exercise, which we really take advantage of in the first round of our show. And that is looking at letters and unscrambling them and figuring out what that word is. That is the crux of Scrabble. And what does that do? That helps with problem solving. That helps with brain matter. Like you always say, as you get older, make sure your brain is working because it'll keep you young. And being able to look at scrambled letters and figure out what it is, it feels good. It feels good to know that you're still up on it.
I want to circle back to LeVar Burton. I've known LeVar for years, a good friend of mine. And I was just, I was undone. As a matter of fact, I protested for a while when he did not get the Jeopardy job.
Right.
LeVar Burton deserved that job at Jeopardy. And I was just so chagrined that he did not get the call for the Jeopardy gig. But I'm glad to see him doing Trivial Pursuit alongside you doing Jeopardy on the CW. But that's significant because these games, and work with me here, I think you'll follow me. These games are games for people who are thinkers.
Yes.
And so often in our culture, you know where I'm going here, they don't include black folk in those spaces, in those places, much less being in control of any effort or outlet that is connected to thinking. I just spent an hour on this program today talking about the true history of black people in the globe, around the globe, and all that we contributed and all that we have done and all the ways that a lot of that history, that excellence has been rendered invisible. So fast forward to 2024, you got not one but two Negroes on one network on the same night hosting shows for smart people.
No, he didn't.
I love that, Raven-Symoné. I love it.
Okay, I'm going to go back a little bit to the beginning of this. I agree that it was sad when LeVar didn't get the Jeopardy job. But one thing that I love that LeVar said is that since he didn't get picked for that, he's able to be the creator and executive producer of his own show.
I get it.
You know, he would have to always be in the footsteps of some white man.
Alex Trebek, yeah.
So he's paving the way in a real beautiful way. So that's one. Love you, LeVar.
I ain't mad at you, Kunta. Do your thing, Kunta.
Do your thing, Kunta.
Yeah.
And then to what you're talking about, immediately yes.
Yeah.
When we heard that we were doing it together, you know, black people can look each other in the eye and say 17 pages
of dialogue without saying
one damn thing. So we just looked at each other and we're like, and action. Yes, here we are.
5, 4, 3.
And yes, it's true.
Yeah.
And at the same time, again, you know me and my controversial ways a little bit.
Yeah.
This is a colorless game.
Yeah.
And LeVar and I, for our history with books and Star Trek and my career, we are universal in a sense. We just happen to have a little darker skin.
Yeah.
I'm pretty high yellow, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I got you.
And I think it's important to know both sides of it. Yes, they are catering to the whole of humankind, but they are also putting a spotlight on the fact that, no, we have all different kinds of culture.
I told you I'd follow Raven-Symoné all throughout this hour, as I have done, and will do when we come forward. She said it. I didn't. She said, y'all heard her. She said, Tavis, you know me and my controversial ways. We're going to talk about Raven-Symoné and why she loves controversy so much. I can hear Little Prince in the back of my head, Miles Low. Controversy with Raven-Symoné when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
Generous listening. Charitable listening. It's why everybody wants to talk to Tavis. The conversation continues when we come forward.
We ask seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up. Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month. If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
Eggs are a staple in our diets, and there's only one egg with more delicious farm-fresh taste plus superior nutrition. Eggland's Best. With more vitamins, including 6 times more vitamin D and 10 times more vitamin E, plus 25% less saturated fat than ordinary eggs. Available in so many delicious varieties: classic, cage-free, and organic. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Halloween's coming alive at Target. Jackie and Gordy the Jack-O-Lanterns here with a front porch view of Target's Halloween deals, like 20% off costumes with Target Circle. We're talking rock stars, witches, princesses.
Ooh, you know, I think I'd look good with a cape.
I think so too, Gordy. Plus, hit the trick-or-treat jackpot with 20% off candy.
Now that's how you get porch traffic.
This week only, save 20% on costumes with Target Circle and 20% off candy. Make your Halloween come alive at Target. Restrictions apply.
You've got a Pepto predicament, moviegoer.
Hey, I can hear your stomach grumbling.
Sorry, I ate that entire tub of popcorn with extra butter.
You overdid it, and now your movie has turned into a blockbuster bellyache. Undo it with Pepto.
When you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Pepto chewables provide fast 5-symptom relief, so you can focus on the action on the big screen instead of in your stomach. When you overdo it, undo it with Pepto. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZQuil.
ZQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZQuil nights. Explore our products at ZQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Less monologue, more dialogue. Tavis Smiley continues right now.
We'll let that ride while I talk to Raven-Symoné about controversy. So it seems to me, as I said earlier in this conversation, you're one of those persons who has, a little bit of FU money and a lot of FU attitude, more money than you want to admit. But I know you paid, Raven-Symoné. I know you paid. You've been doing this for too many years. Yeah. All the shows you've done, you paid. All right, I'll leave that alone. I ain't gonna count your pennies. But you are one of those persons who I think, and if I'm wrong, disabuse me of this notion. But when it's necessary, I'll use that word. When my sense is that when you think it's necessary, you are not afraid to court controversy. If I'm right about it?
You are correct. You are correct about it. I have to really be empowered from the root chakra to the crown chakra. The truth has to happen for me, and it's not always what other people want to hear, and it's not that. I will say that some things that I have said in the past, a small group of people will understand, and the masses will not. And I think then it's also very important for someone who courts it to know how to apologize to those who you've offended. But then it's also important for the person who's apologizing to know why you're apologizing and what it's for. It's not necessarily because of my thoughts are wrong, but it's because I hurt your feelings, and that was never my intention. But I still need you to listen to what I said because this is my thought process. And then at the same time, when I'm apologizing and someone presents information to me that helps me change my mind or helps me see a different perspective, I think that's also important. But, with culture and the way things are moving forward, I have an idealistic approach to what that looks like, and I want to be able to be that sounding board of someone who's like, no, this is what I'm taught I should think, and the world is not reflecting that, but then you teach us that, so I'm confused.
How have you navigated this journey of being a child star, and we see you in a certain frame, and we expect you're never going to grow out of that frame? I see you rolling your eyes already. How have you navigated us having our own perceptions of you, but finding a comfort level in being who you are and speaking your own truth?
I think to explain it, I slowly walk with you and hold your hand. I know that my transitions are very, very abrupt and fast. I'm a Sagittarius. But I also know that I have people and supporters that walk with me, and they are not processing as fast as I do because the lag of an upload, the lag of a couple weeks go by and I change by 3 different people and they're just now seeing me. I tend to hold their hand. I know that even when I got married, that was the first time I ever just like bam, 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 like, you know what I mean? But I slowly found a way to bring people to that, to bring people to the water. You know what I mean? Like I slowly brought them there. And as I continuously find myself and ground myself in my actual soul, I will slowly bring you along with me. Unlike, no, you have to call me this now and this is what it is. It's like nobody's journey is concrete that way forever. There's everybody changing, and change is the only constant. So with that, we have to be empathetic to those that are from a different time period and a different thought process, and understand that not everybody is going to be on the side of my right. They're on the side of their right. And if we can find a happy medium, that's good.
Our remaining moments with the philosopher, Raven-Symoné, on Tavis Smiley.
Why does Tavis say, when we come forward? Because he's not going back. And you don't have to go back either. Forward ever, backward never. More of Tavis Smiley when we come forward.
Standing up for everyday Americans is at the very foundation of who Kamala Harris is. Raised in a middle-class home by a working mother who instilled in her a passion for justice and equality. That's why when Kamala Harris became district attorney, she stood up for our kids, keeping them safe by prosecuting sex offenders. She also pioneered a program to give nonviolent drug offenders a second chance. As president, Kamala Harris will continue the fight for everyday Americans. She's already lowered the cost of your health insurance and medications. Insulin is now capped at $35 for seniors. But there's more to do because mortgages, rents, groceries, and utility bills are still too high. Harris's plan to fix it? Build more homes to lower prices and make the wealthy and billionaires pay their fair share so we get a break. All her life, Kamala Harris has been standing up for us, and she doesn't plan to stop anytime soon.
I'm Kamala Harris, candidate for president, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Harris for president.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Worried about eviction? You have rights, and Stay Housed LA can help. Stay Housed LA is a partnership between LA County, the City of Los Angeles, and local service providers. From Lancaster to Long Beach, we're here to help you with tenant education workshops, legal clinics, free legal services for eligible tenants, and online resources about tenant protection laws. Don't face eviction alone. Call our hotline at 1-888-694-0040. That's 1-888-694-0040. Or visit stayhousedla.org. Stay Housed LA, keeping Los Angeles residents in their homes. Stay Housed LA, your rights, your home, our community. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Fam, some of y'all need to hear this. If you owe the IRS $8,000 or more, if you haven't filed your taxes, or if you are going through an audit and you're fighting the IRS, you need someone on your side, an ally. Allies Tax Relief has a large team of professionals that negotiates with the IRS on behalf of taxpayers just like you. Allies Tax Relief will protect your wages from being garnished, your bank account from being levied, and your assets from being seized by the IRS. Allies Tax Relief has fought for thousands of Americans in your situation. There's no reason to be embarrassed. Don't let fear stop you from calling and resolving your issue. Call 800-854-2815 today for a free consultation. Allies teams of tax attorneys, CPAs, and enrolled agents have negotiated millions in IRS tax debt, and they're ready to fight for you. Call today for the freedom you've been waiting for. Call 800-854-2815 or visit alliestaxrelief.com.
More honesty than you can handle. More empowerment than you can imagine. You're tuned in to Tavis Smiley.
Tavis Smiley and Raven-Symoné for the next 4 minutes. So very quickly here, I mentioned earlier that I was going to ask you why you avoid the politics. Why is that?
I avoid the politics because it's a hot mess. It's so entertaining.
Yeah.
What I see is high school antics.
Wow.
On an everyday basis, disguised by professional adults that want to scold us and control our bodies. It's just amazing. And obviously, you know, I'm a liberal, but it's a mess, honey. It's a mess.
You prefer just to stay out of it.
I just want to watch it for entertainment, you guys. It's just entertaining.
Well, it has been that this time around, to be sure. Okay, so we talked about Scrabble.
Yeah.
Give us again. CW.
CW Thursday nights. It's the game night for Scrabble from 8/7 Central. Me and LeVar Burton.
We mentioned the book you're working on.
I am working on a book.
You got a timeline on that? Are you still?
It's gonna be. I'm gonna be talking about my time from the Cosby Show till the time that I parted ways with some people.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you know you have to come when the book is done.
Yeah, you're gonna have to read that, Tavis, and see if you're ready for it.
Oh no, I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm ready. I ain't ready yet, but I'm ready.
Ready?
If you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. You got to get ready. So I'm ready. Trust and believe. So just make sure we're on the list.
Yes, sir.
I'm like, hey, Raven-Symoné, he got a book coming out. She ain't showed up yet.
You're gonna be in the first week, bro.
All right,
that's for sure.
All right, Roger, you heard that? She said first week.
First week.
Yeah.
First week.
All right. Last thing we didn't talk about is your podcast.
I know.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, the podcast is called Tea Time with Raven and Miranda. You can find it on YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. It's my wife and I talking to people in the industry, friends, and ourselves about absolutely nothing. I'm just playing. No, it's really fun.
It can be a vacuous place, though. This is a vacuous business.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I love our show because not only do we get to communicate as wives to each other, but we get to talk about things like bees or masturbation or reading. There's every topic you could possibly think of that we talk to, and we've had Megan Good on, we've had Tiffany Haddish, we've had so many people, and I'm inviting you to the podcast as well, sir.
I accept.
Lovely. You heard that, babe?
If you can come see me, I can come see you.
There it is. Look at us.
I will be there. I will be there. I sense that you are, but
he got senses.
Yeah, I got senses. I sense that you are, but are you happy?
I am. I'm very happy, sir. Yeah. Thank you for asking.
That's what matters most to me.
Thank you.
Because if Raven-Symoné ain't happy, ain't nobody happy.
Trust me, that is a true statement.
So I hear.
Yeah, that's a real thing.
If she ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. So I'm glad she's. Could I just tell you, I knew this was gonna be a lot of fun, and I knew I would enjoy it. But it's been so much more than that.
I have.
Thank you.
And I know that we've been in our presence with each other in past, but I'm actually very, very happy to be in your presence now that I'm actually in my presence. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
I hear that loud and clear, and I receive that.
Yeah.
And I will see you next on your podcast.
And I will see you next when my book comes out.
Yeah, exactly right. Her name is Raven-Symoné, and I've loved this hour. Just like that, 3 hours gone. Back here tomorrow. A great lineup tomorrow, including some guy named Denzel Washington.
No.
Yeah, here tomorrow, and got some other great guests all this week. Going to be a great week of shows here on Tavis Smiley. Until tomorrow, thanks for tuning in. And as always, keep the faith.